Okay, good morning, guys, and welcome to our eighth session uh, of our subject ICT 410. Uh, this our topic for this morning is about disk operating system. So this is the last topic before we have our midterm examination next week. Uh, our exam will be on November 11 at 8 a.m. until 9:15. So that will be our midterm exam. That will be online through Google Forms, and we have 80 items test. So please be on time next week. Okay. So this is our last module. Next week, you don't have any module. It because it is our exam week. So please comply the um, activity for this week only. Okay. So for our topic for this morning, we have this operating system. This is just overview of DOS because you we have a topic for this during your second year. So for this operating system, your disk operating system actually your operating system that was preceded with Windows, and before Windows we have your disk operating system. So we all know that your operating system is the in-betweener program or software so that you can run applications atop your disk operating system. Without this operating system, you'll not be able to execute programs that you take for granted for today. So just because when you're going to start your computer, all you have to do is to wait for you to go around your the desktop environment. So, but before Windows, there is what we call your disk operating system. So our objectives for this morning is to number one, discuss the importance of automating, um, uh, discuss disk operating system, then value the importance of disk operating system, and understand the basic concepts of disk operating system. So for MS-DOS, MS-DOS is the equivalent for Microsoft disk operating system. And later on, you will find out that other companies manufactured DOS as well, besides Microsoft. So again, your disk operating system is a computer operating system that resides on and can use disk storage devices such as your floppy disk, hard disk drive, or optimal disk. During that time, it's still floppy disk because we don't have any flash drives. So a disk operating system must provide a file system for organizing, reading, and writing files on a disk storage. So during those times, we still have to use FAT or your file allocation table. But nowadays, starting from Windows NT, or we use NTFS already. So new technology file system. But when you have DOS, strictly speaking, this definition does not apply to current generations of operating system, but rather the Microsoft Windows that is precedes Microsoft Windows and appropriately used only for older generations of operating system. So we use DOS or disk operating systems for mainframes, mini computers, microprocessors, etc. And the only thing that precedes with that is your MS-DOS. So MS-DOS is an acronym for Microsoft Disk Operating System because it was manufactured by Microsoft. So it is based on times 86 or 32-bit personal computers, most developed by Microsoft. But collectively, MS-DOS is rebranded as IBM PC-DOS, which IBM manufactured their own DOS. It's called PC-DOS. And PC-DOS and MS-DOS are somewhat compatible. Medyo pareho sa dagawa. And attempting to be compatible with MS-DOS are sometimes referred to as DOS. Pero, so magambal ka mo gani nga DOS, it's either MS-DOS or PC-DOS. No? So, but because during that time, IBM, kung isang nag-intindihan na ka Microsoft, so Kay since nga duwa sanda nag-develop ka DOS, ginto nga nandaya version. So may version sa Microsoft, may version sa IBM. So ang Microsoft gin pangalanan ng daandang DOS nga MS-DOS. Ang anak IBM PC-DOS. So more or less the compatibility of the personal computers, meaning to say you can run any application on the two, maskin sa duwa, maskin sa diyan sa duwa. So during that time, 1980s to mid 1990s, no, we don't have any GUI pa or the graphical user interface. That is why we don't use mouse. So wala pa mouse ang una, keyboard lang. And during its lifetime, several competing products were released for 32-bit platform, and MS-DOS went through 8 versions until development ceased in year 2000. Kaya pag year 2000, may Windows NT na kita, and Microsoft XP was released the year after, karang 2001. So initially, MS-DOS targeted Intel processors pa, mga Pentium ninyo, karang una, and running on computer hardware using floppy disk pa to store and access not only the operating system but application software as well as data as well. So how old are you guys during 1992? So how old are you during 1993, 94, 95? So during those times, we don't have any flash drives yet, but we do have floppy disk na ginatawag. So there are two kinds of floppy disk. The first one is the 5-inch floppy disk, and the smaller one is the 3-inch floppy disk. So karang una, ang mag-boot ka mo ka computer ninyo, aton no karon ni turn on lang ninyo yung computer nyo, okay na. Kay after several seconds, several minutes, ma-open na ninyo, mag-adto ka mo sa Windows environment na. During year 1992, that was not the case. It's because i-plug nyo pa ang disk operating system anay. It's either MS-DOS or PC-DOS. Then that's you still have to wait for 10 minutes hasta nga mag-run siya. On top of that, you bull-on nyo yung DOS nga flash drive, and then islan nyo ka software. So imagine ang Microsoft Word, karang una word star pa dayo tawag nanda. After ninyo ginboot ang hanggod-hanggod nga flash drive nga pwede nyo ipanguyab, isla nyo pa da kabag-ong floppy drive, and then para nun nyo pa ang program. So there's no mouse. All you have to do is to memorize the keyboard functions and the shortcuts. Then that's the time that you'll be able to produce a document. So karang una, it's very hard to produce a one-page document, no? So there are many commands that you need to execute before you can come up with a decent document. So for DOS versions, MS-DOS released Microsoft released MS-DOS under different names, and most popularly, it's called Software Bus 86. It is also called Z-DOS, pero the most popular is MS-DOS. And for the IBM naman, which we are going to later on study also, became PC-DOS. So the 16-bit version of Windows, that is called your Windows 3.1 or 3.11. So it ran already on graphical user interface. That was the very first time that I've seen a GUI. So karang pagwa na kadaya nga sa eskwelahan namon, agin bakal ka eskwelahan, and napaandar namon, hindi doon magamit kadang lain-lain nga floppy drive na lang para sa programs. Mag-save do lang gina-save na. So tama agin kalipay namon. Kay tikarang una why hindi ka doon magsagad ka the GUI was first introduced during Windows 3.11, 1994, 1993, 1994. So with that, after that, various Windows versions came up until which incorporated MS-DOS, meaning to say ang MS-DOS ang foundation ng dagyapon, and then ginbutangan lang ka mga bago nga programming, so that nagbutang na siya ka GUI. And the hard disk was introduced as the hardware. So ang hard disk ninyo introduced na siya as hardware. So with that, the versions that have MS-DOS on top of Windows, we have Windows 95. I don't know kung naabutan nyo pa da, pero naabutan namon da. Actually, some of our older computers there sa lab number 3, why na sila gagana, no? Pero I still have some versions of Windows 98 di ako nakon nga copy. Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows XP. So the various versions are Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 98 SE and ME, and then Windows 2000 na. Then afterwards, we have Windows XP. So nagbuhay ang pinaka longest tenured nga operating system, which is also the popular. This is the most popular Windows of all time. I think ang Windows XP bala. So karang una tama gid ka ano ka Windows XP. And I still have a copy of Windows XP actually. No. And if you can see with our demo during your first year and second year sa tong VMware naton sa virtualization, actually if you're familiar with the kung atsura ng structure na, mas madali intindihon ang Windows XP kaysa mga complicated nga ano. Sad to say that Windows XP was not supported anymore, so there are vulnerabilities that will come with the software package. So that is why gina-endeavor ka Microsoft ang updates kag ang ano, which is nowadays we are going to migrate to Windows 11 already. And your Windows 11 still has a DOS function. May ara man sa gyapon ng DOS function. Pero siguro sa mga masunod nga mga generation, kay we are now starting to migrate to the metaverse mo. So that is why pati ang Facebook nagmeta na siya. Kay during the virtualization will be already implemented. So sa orihi, why nakita sang hard disk, all you have to do is to boot online. So online nakita tanan, maboot pati ang mga applications naton. So ginahimo nang daday para ma-lessen ang mga piracy kag ang iban pang mga illegal activities, no, na makasave sa Pero sige lang, I think that is all good, no, just because we need to centralize. The drawback, however, is the backup for the systems. So if ever because all of the software that you're going to consider is all there on the cloud already. That is why before mag-extinct ang DOS nga daya or ang MS-DOS, pati ang PC-DOS, we still need to understand the structure and the programming for the command-based application. Kaya we're still running on these applications as well as of now. Okay. So for legal compatibility, end of life, I think as of 2011, MS-DOS is still used in some enterprises to run legacy applications. So when you speak about legacy applications, these are softwares na karang una pa. So such as this US Navy Food Service Management System, may mga system pasanda nga ng DOS ang ginagamit. So ang mga gagmay lang daya guys, kay ang manami lang sa DOS, it's very robust, no? Kay gamay lang siya. Actually, ang programming niya is tama ka simple. Pero you can do a lot of things for DOS versions. Si Sir nyo Dave, ginaobra na gani pa mag-copy kang mga files nga drag ko sa DOS niya pag ginapagi. Ay ang DOS direktahanay ang pag-copy niya. Pero nowadays kung SSD naman ang hard disk nyo, there's no need to do that. Kaya tama naman kadasig ang technology na tulad. Pero kung ang hardware ninyo extinct doon, so you still need to understand DOS because it will become handy to type and command those applications nga ninyo, especially if you're going to copy hard disk to hard disk nga files. So without any external hard drive nga connection. So kung baga pang cowboy bala nga mga pang technical applications bala. So isalpak mo lang diyan sa ano nyo, sa motherboard. May duwa ka lang ka connector sa duwa ka hard disk, then you can use those to transfer files. So but nowadays guys, since madasig doon pati gani yung flash drive, ang ano bala, ang USB drive ninyo may 3.0 na version, may 4.0 na gani kag 5.0. So tama dugid kadasig. Actually, and then if you are going to make your upgrade on your computer, I think ang ano lang is you buy cheapest SSD nga mabakalin nyo sa market. I think mga 128 nga ano, if kung may karokata ka mo, mo ano lang to 56. And then that will be the base for your Windows application. And then ang hard disk ninyo nga daan, i-reformat lang ninyo and make it as a storage na lang. So I think maskin 4 gigabytes lang ang memory nyo, basta naka SSD ka mo guys, gasibado daya ano nyo, yung Windows. Since DOS is running already also on Windows 9X kernel. So Windows 9X kernel is the foundation of your Windows 10. So as now, as it is nowadays, pwede pa kita gyapon makaran sa DOS applications nga gusto natin provide. Now let's go to our activity number 15. It's called your directory play on MS-15, MS-115. You're going to go to MS-DOS and you type CMD on your start menu, and then you provide a directory application. So let's have a demo, Anay, before we go on to our So that will be your activity number 15. Okay, let's have a demo first. Okay, so what you're going to do is to on your menu, on the start menu, you type there CMD, and then you will go to your command prompt. So to give down the list of your directories, this is just a refresher because I know you know all this already. So you type dir slash question mark, and then you press enter. Now you will be listed down there with your directories, no? So you have your attributes. A stands for the attribute, B for the bare format, C for the display, 1,000 separators, and then so on and so forth. So what you're going to do, guys, what you're going to do is you type dir and then slash any of this. So if you are going to put here, like for example, letter T, so it's on the time field display for use for sorting. So press enter and then this one. Now what happens is your time was displayed on your screen. So di kita nyo dun. No? Kaya ang directory slash T ga repurpose sa time. And then produce a screenshot and then copy paste it on your word processor. So pangitaan lang ninyo sa dir slash double question mark kung ano yung gusto nyo. Maskin ano lang. And then ano ninyo katatlo. And then that will be your activity number 15. Okay, so gets ninyo guys. Any questions about your activity number 15? Okay, so wala naman. So that will be your active pause, no? So pwede ka makabutang ka mga combinations like for example dir slash T slash W. Then this one. Okay, then produce a screenshot. Then you can also, like for example, ang my favorite na directory play, you type there the dir slash S, and then this will happen. Okay, so the looping function of your directory. So it will not stop until you press anything on the keyboard, no? Okay. So matrix lang. And then you produce a screenshot and then okay, so that done. Then you can also type several directories pa kung gusto ninyo. So mo lang da. delete lang ninyo, mulanday mo ninyo, that will be your activity number 15. Okay, so let's move on. Wait lang guys, let me show my screen. Ano eh. Okay, so that will be your activity number 15. And then let's go to PC DOS. I'm sorry. So for PC DOS naman, as I've said, this is actually embedded with your ano guys, with your the functionality for IBM compatibility. So when you speak about PC DOS, it is an acronym for IBM Personal Computer Disk Operating System, no? Also known as your IBM PC DOS. So it is discontinued due to the in 1980s until 2000s because it's not applicable anymore. Because also that Microsoft take over the world. Kay ang prefer ka mga users ang anak ka Microsoft na products. But the content of IBM PC DOS is this more or less the same with your MS DOS. Ang ana lang nga logo kag ang manufacturer ang naglain. So the IBM task force assembled to develop the PC, and then decided that the critical component of that PC is your operating system. And the radical break from the company tradition of in-house development was one key that IBM became tied up with Microsoft, meaning to say nag-partners anda. Pero Microsoft, founded 5 years earlier by Bill Gates, was eventually selected for the operating system. And then over the course of history, various versions of PC DOS goes hand in hand with Microsoft with different DOS versions. And I think the last version that they did was the PC DOS 7.0, if I'm not mistaken. And you can still download it from the internet. So that will be your activity number 16. So later on, karon lang. So what's new with PC DOS is that PC DOS became a turbulent operating system on IBM. No, so because IBM wanted that they have their personalized operating system and they don't want to have an influence outside of their company, so they make use of the customized applications for PC DOS. Pero kay tuwa ang PC DOS, way gawa nagsikat kay amo lang daya in-house nga no ka IBM. Whereas nga Microsoft tanagin distribute na ang tanang operating system sa bilog nga kalibutan. That is why as tatulad ang Microsoft nga Windows ang evolved version kay inyo nga MS-DOS. So with IBM naman, PC DOS support for client access for these files has a distributed data management architecture. So DDM na siya. Hindi siya DDS sa DDM. So distributed data management system ang architecture niya. So this enables program to create, manage, access, and record-oriented files available on IBM compatible PCs. So the last thing that I have, the lasting impression for this was 20 years ago, guys. 2007 ata or 20 years past, and or wala pa no, and IBM ang make availability of your Pentium products. Ang Pentium 2 ninyo was the last, Pentium 3, Pentium 4 ata ang no. So Pentium 2 running on Pentium 2, kag ang Pentium 4 ang last because ang Pentium 4 ang after Pentium 4 may core ang inyong processor na becomes your core 2 duo na siya. So duwa doon nga core nga operating systems ang nga ano ganit tawag nga core sa nga microchip, no. So ang compatibility na however is one core. That is why nagaran ang MS-DOS ninyo sa one core operating hardware type nga architecture. So the same thing with your IBM compatibility systems or the PC-DOS. And as I've said, it runs on DDM, and it is called the distributed data management architecture. So IBM compatibility softwares and what they did during those times for tied up for applications when they are having a tied up with Microsoft is that they made a development nga nag-endeavor kapag butang ka GUI sa operating system. So kay ang GUI karang una wala siya non-existing, and as I've said, keyboard lang ang ginagamit, wala siyang mouse, and mabudlay para sa mga end users ang mag-propel kaandang applications kag ang anang ano sa pixels nanda kay hindi pwede ka vertical alignment, meaning to say pwede siya kagamit kadang cursor ang cursor is up and down lang kag left to right. Ang shortcut will be your vertical or vertical alignment for the pixels. So why pa lang pixel nga word, may GUI pa lang ang PC-DOS kag Microsoft gin decide nanda nga mag-create ka GUI doon. So that was the byproduct of the partnership of PC-DOS and MS-DOS. So after that nagbulagay sanda doon, and when they parted ways gindaran nanda tandaya andang patent sa IBM kag MS-DOS. So later on guys, if you're going to download PC-DOS, you will notice that pareho gid sanda. Ang ngaran lang ang naglain. Okay. Now for our demo, for your activity number 16, it's called PC-DOS. You're going to download PC-DOS guys, ha. I think the last version is 7.0. And then you're going to try it. Pero ang hindi ka mo magagamit kasi MD. Para nun nyo siya, and then afterwards, may muka folder. So, imuon yung folder is ang Luca/Doncic/Mavericks/77. So, hindi siya sa command naton sa MS-DOS, pero sa PC-DOS. So, what you're going to do is actually, let's have a demo right now. Okay, so on Google, no, what you're going to do is to type their PC-DOS download. Okay, and then you'll be directed here sa winworldpc.com. You can also done using the simulator with the DOS box. Pero dyan nakamanay, check nyo dahil PC-DOS 7 WinWorld, then you're going to download this. Okay. Ari guys, so you select lang di kung diin ka nanda. Gamay malang, pira malang 8 point something MB. So ang itsura ka PC-DOS guys, di-download nyo din, no, sa dia. Okay, you can select ang, I think ang manaming version is try nyo lang Diana ang first. Okay. Then, madali mo lang siya guys. Mag-download sa lang siya. This one. Then, download nyo. Naka-zip file, I think. And then, kung naka-zip file siya, check nyo lang. Oh, kay 7Z ang Then, double click lang siguro, no? Why ako zip file? Downloadan nyo ka 7Z or ganitang isa ganitang ang compatible niya lang why ako So, downloadan nyo pa siya guys ka 7Z or ang compatible niya nga downloadan nyo pa compatible niya nga software. Pero 7C nga file, I think 7c.org. Install nyo ano yung 7c. And then that's the time nga pwede nyo to i-open. So, download yung 7c. Na. Then, hindi ko lang guys pag ano ha, kay hindi ko gusto pag-eksperimentuhan kay base talang may ano siya balasad ang ano ko sa MS-DOS. So pareho lang doon guys i-open nyo ano yung CMD, install nyo, then that's the time nga i-open niyo to kay na ang tong download nyo sa PC-DOS. This one. Okay, so unahon nyo ang 7Z ka-install, and then that's the time nga magamit nyo doon dahil ang PC-DOS. So, ang itsura ka PC-DOS ninyo, more or less, guys. Okay. So, more or less, amo lang siya. This one. So, pareho gid sanda ka DOS ninyo. So, makita nyo may mga command kag directory. Pareho gid sanda. The same gid sanda. Okay. And then ang command nga imo ninyo is 'di ba so ang CMD lang gamiton ko ha, hindi ang PC-DOS. So example, the same man siya. If you're going to create tong kagina Luca Doncic no, MD. So MD Luca enter. And CD Luca enter. Yeah, so as you can see now, makita nyo may Luca na siya na folder, no? Then, MD liwat, make directory. Then, Doncic. Then, CD, Doncic. Then, press enter. Then, MD, Mavericks. Then, CD, Mavericks. Then MD 77. Then CD 77. Okay, so this one. Then screenshot. Then afterwards, you can check this. You go to your letter C or to your drive D. Drive C, no? Then pangitaon nyo to Luka Doncic kagina. Yung ito gani kagina. Okay, so search nyo lang. Luca folder. Sa C na siya. Nag-uran. Okay, then pangitaon nyo guys. After nyo mapangita, then ang folder, hasta sa itong 77, then screenshot nyo liwat kag amo day activity number 16 ninyo. Pero sa PC-DOS siya, hindi sa CMD. So I think it's somewhere here sa C. Okay, sa CMD ninyo kayo na sa command prompt. Users. Sa users dili. So C users. So pangitaan natin C users. Then C users. Then ganun. Wait lang. CMD hi. C users. Users hi. Then Luca. This one. This is Luca. Luca Doncic Mavericks 77. So diyan doon makita niyo daw. Okay, so na. Then screenshot, and then that will be your activity number. That will be your activity number 16. Okay. So do you have any questions, guys, with our activity? Number 16.
Sir, kung mag-download kami katong 7C, sir, hindi man magtalang press katong amon.
Hindi man.
Sa MS-DOS.
Oo, sa downloads niyo lang ano po, i-direct ko downloads mo.
Low, low.
Sa downloads, and then afterwards, click nyo man lang kagang ano. Ang 7C, program lang da sa, ano ganito, ng compression file bala. Oo. Pareho ka mga downloads ninyo bilang nga gina-open ninyo sa ano, ha?
Ang WinRAR, mga wala sir.
WinRAR, something like that, oo. So, the WinRAR lang siya. Oo. So, kay ang 7C, para sa, pero libre lang din yung 7C, why not bayad? Para maparan ninyo guys, PC-DOS. Amo lang ba?
Okay sir.
Okay, guys, let me see your faces, Anay. Let's have a screenshot. Oo, this is the para sa ano nato na, para next month. Hindi do namon da pag ano, ay may screenshot do kamo nga pamatuod nga nagklase kita. Lihog lang na. Itsura niya, Anay guys, sige lang. Parang why dot durong gamo ay masabat. Na. Okay, so smile. Mike, ano Mike, Hope Joy pa ano screen nyo. Kate, open ka na ano nyo Kate. Dali mo lang dyan guys pira mo lang ka ano. Practice na ka smile. Okay, si Rubido lang. Si Cindy, please open your ano camera. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, dali lang. Isa na ha. Kadua lang ka beses, dali lang. Isa last do lang guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so salamat gid. Thank you good guys sa pag-attend ka klase niyo. Klase naton gali.
Code of the day sir.
Good luck sa exam ninyo next week. Pahuway kita na next week guys. Wala module.
Yeah, code of the day sir, why?
Ay, oo, yeah, code of the day. Wait lang. I'm sorry, dali lang. Dali lang gid. Wait lang. Ito sila dahil. Ay, sige lang. Ano lang guro, no? Okay. Our code of the day is this one. Ang pamangkot, who developed MS-DOS? Okay, so that
Okay
will be
sir.
our code of the day. Who developed MS-DOS? And ad astra per sapientia, it means to the stars through knowledge. So thank you guys for attending our class.
Thank you sir.
Thank you and
Thank you good sir.
why duman. See you later. Ang ano if you want to ano pa. Sa ano Faith sa next week sa 11. 8 o'clock until 9:15. Okay, so thank you again. Okay, so guys, pwede do guys ka ano Salamat gid. Stop ko ng recording.